Well, hello and welcome. I hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to be doing the second half of my houseplant tour. We're out in my hallway, which is the coldest part of my home. There's no heating out here and there are no plant lights, so quite a different setup compared to the first part of this video, which was in my living room and my kitchen. And then after we've done the hallway, we'll go through to my bedroom. Where it's obviously a lot warmer. But yeah, let me spin the camera around and show you my beautiful hallway. So this is the entrance to my home, and this is what I get to see on my way in and out. Let's start with the very first plant, which is this plant here. It is another Anthurium clarinervium. Not the happiest. This was actually a rescue plant. But yeah, she's got some beautiful leaves actually, and she's been living out here in the hallway. I do plan on selling this one at some stage. Let me just spin her around a bit. Yeah, it's a really beautiful plant. I've got quite a few clarinerviums. I actually have another one in my bedroom, and I have one in my first video, which is in the living room. This one is in a tree fern. No, actually, no. I think this one's just in an aeroid mix in quite a tall pot. And this was its newest leaf, poking up above the others. Definitely losing the size. It's not sizing up. And that's probably just down to the fact that it's getting less light. And it's also got like a bit of a haloing. I'm not sure what that is. Probably from the cold. But yeah, hopefully we can like make this one look gorgeous again. But it'll have to wait until the summer. Let's go over here. Oh, actually, I just wanted to do a little 360 of this space. So yeah, this is the hallway. Through there is the bedroom. Hi. And then I have a shelf with a window. Well, with a skylight that is southeast facing. And I have quite a few succulents here. Oh my gosh, this day is so nice. So here we've got a Guttergalents, and this was actually on my wish list last year, so I'm really pleased to have this one. It has gorgeous flowers, but it's such a curly whirly plant, and I'm really loving it. I had it in the bedroom. It was way too warm in there for it, I think, actually. And I possibly overwatered it, but yeah, she's a work in progress. Here I've got two little gardens in a pot, and they're all succulents in there. Succulents for me are very new, although I have had these two little pots for, I would say, 2 years or a year and a half. They've been a work in progress, you know. I've kind of added things and taken things out. They've changed a little over the time. Okay, so what's in the pot? We've got an echeveria. This one I think is called the powder puff or something similar, something like that. I don't actually know all the names of the echeverias. And it's pupped, which is just adorable. This one is called something wart. I can never remember the name of this one. I'll put the correct name up. And it has expanded like greatly. It's so big now, and I really love it. And it seems to really love high light, I suppose, like most succulents. Behind that is a jade plant, which it came in a tiny little pot, and it's most definitely expanded. This kind of hanging thing, oh God, I love it. And I'm so pleased that I managed to master the burrito. So it's a sedum burrito, but it's also known as the donkey tail cactus. And I love her. Really makes this pot quite something else. We've got two echeverias, like a really lovely purple one. I wanted like different types of colours to balance each other out. In the back we've got an African milk tree. another tiny little jade plant. I think this is also known as the Chinese money plant. I remember when I was working in the plant store, a lot of people would come in and ask for the Chinese plant. Or the lucky Chinese plant, I don't know, I can't remember now. And I was just like completely confused, like, because there's quite a few plants with the same name. Oh, I don't want to bump this thing around. Let me get my hand in there. Yeah, this one was tiny when I got it. It was like just this kind of, there was just one, but now it's kind of branched out. The problem with moving this donkey towel, it will start dropping stuff, so let me just get my camera in like that, and hopefully you can have a proper look at it. But yeah, she's really just going for it, and nothing has changed throughout the winter. Haven't watered these guys. I watered them at the beginning of the winter, like around November or October, and now I just kind of come in, give them a little squeeze. If they're squashy, I start with this is like my little canary actually. So when the echeverias are in both pots, when they start showing signs of needing water, then I'll water the lot. And I'll probably won't do that again until generally 3 or 4 months without watering these guys throughout the winter. Behind, let me just grab this one out from here. Behind, I've put my Ripsalis Tress Prismatica. What is it? Prismatica. Yeah, so this is my Ripsalis Tress Prismatica. When it began, it was kind of, the leaves are really quite square almost. But as it's growing out, it's changing into quite a different plant. And I have seen a full version, like a mature version of this plant, and it does look a bit scatty. But yeah, she just lives there. This plant here, let me get you out of there. Wow. Yeah, this is my candlestick plant. It's quite a funny little oddball. It's just one little stem at the moment, so I'll probably propagate this in the summer. It would be nice to have maybe at least three stems in there, or it might just sprout out itself. Let's have a look in there. I mean, I really don't see anything very active, and yeah, I kind of don't really know what to do with this plant. I'll have to do some research before obviously trying to propagate it, but at the moment I quite like how whimsical it is. Oops. Yeah, it just sits in there. It seems to tolerate the temperature. All these plants seem fairly happy. Let's move on. This guy here is oh my gosh, it's a Ripsalis, it's the red coral. If it was getting more light, or especially in the summer, it tends to look a little bit redder, but I could probably lift the lighting. Again, this one came in a really tiny little pot, and it's, I don't know, 4 times bigger, most definitely, than it was before. Next is my monkey tail cactus, another wish list plant, which I got last year. So pleased to have it. When I got it, it was about this long. And now we've got all of this length. It's just crazy. I don't see anything else kind of activated in the pot at the moment. Possibly in the summer I'll do the same thing, like maybe chop this into 3 parts, propagate it, and then just get kind of a couple more towels hanging. Maybe 3 towels would be nice. But I really love this plant. I wanted it for the longest time. I remember Wild Fern having one and just thinking, oh my gosh, that is just so bizarre. I have to have it. You've got to have a couple of bizarre, freaky looking plants in your collection, I think. It just makes things interesting. It keeps things interesting, doesn't it? Okay, moving on. This is a peperomia. I think they call it Hope. She is trailing. I got this also in like a 5 centimetre pot, something very tiny. And she's expanded. Most of my plants are in clear pots, and all of these plants actually out here that I've shown you so far, excluding the anthurium, are in a desert mix. Okay, moving on to my most precious Hoya linearis. This one is doing so well. You'll get to see another one which is not doing so well. It's living out here in the hallway. It seems to be coping with the temperature quite nicely. This is actually a cutting from my main plant, and it is in pon. Yeah, and it flowered in the summer for the very first time. I mean, I was shocked actually to find that it was blooming, and there was other flowers were absolutely gorgeous. I put one on the side so that you can see what that looks like. But yeah, maybe she'll bloom again, who knows? But clearly the temperatures are shockingly cold. Actually, let me see, what is the temperature? So at the moment we're looking at 16 to 17, but that's because the sun's out, centigrade, sorry. Up here in the corner is probably quite an unhappy philodendron, Florida ghost. All the leaves have reverted to green. I mean, it's a pretty plant, and it really doesn't take a lot of my attention, meaning it doesn't need a lot of care. It just is a little wild one. It really just gets on with it. And I'm probably watering this one because it's out here in the cold hallway. It's probably getting watered every 3 weeks. The soil does tend to stay quite moist out here for longer. Moving on to the shelving unit. So right there next to my Buddha, my very happy Buddha, is a Sansevieria, which I think now has been renamed to Dracaena or Dracaena. That's the starfish, and I actually have another one. Oh my gosh, I love this plant. Look how much it's grown. It's just nuts. It has grown a lot. Definitely, it's always lived here in the hallway, and I've had it for about 3 years. So look, it's not the fastest grower, but I mean, for that type of plant, it has grown quite quickly. Recently, it's kind of picked up speed. Yeah, I really like it. I think here in the hallway, it really is quite a feature plant. In the bottle here, which I probably need to clean that water, this is a lucky bamboo, and it's just climbing. Yeah, there's quite a bit of height to it. I actually got this as a gift, and yeah, hopefully it'll bring me lots and lots of luck for 2025 and onwards. Okay, back down here. This is a funny little cutting of a string of turtles. Really cute little plant. I actually had just like one little stem. Currently I've just like wrapped it around, and hopefully it will just start pushing out new stems eventually. But look, it's out here in the cold. It's not going to do so well in the winter, but it's always lived out here, and yeah, I want it to toughen up a bit, so it's just going to have to tolerate and grow up. To move that out of the way, it's quite ugly. Okay, down here we've got another Sansevieria, Dracaena. This is the Wowfin, and we've got lots of pups in there. That white stuff is some biological pests. That's the bedding of the biological pests. I won't be using that again. I was treating the plants with spider mite. But yeah, back to the plant. Again, had this about 3 years, and slow grower, but has definitely grown. I mean, the mother in the back was half the size for sure. This one I think is just in a chunky aeroid mix. I don't believe that's in a desert mix at all, but it seems fairly happy. I do very little with it. Next to that is a funny little, what do they call this? Cactus. I don't know what type of cactus it is, but it just kind of lives there in its little cactusy pot. It's quite adorable, and I've had this, gosh, I've easily had this 2 years. It has like puffed a lot, and it probably needs to go into a bigger pot to like actually do something more than what it's currently doing. But yeah, it's quite cute little filler plant. Next to that is another Ripsalis. This is called Pumice Donense. I don't know if I've said that right. I will put the names up on the screen if I haven't said that right. Pumice Disius. This was actually a gift from a subscriber. She was downsizing her collection. It's most definitely grown a lot. We were struggling at one stage. It definitely prefers the cooler temperature. It was kind of browning when it was in the bedroom, and you can see like, yeah, I mean that stem completely corroded. Next to that is my Thanksgiving cactus. This one has bloomed. The blooms are white, very, very pretty. I do kind of like change its environment every 2 months. So it was out in my living room in the warmer temperatures, and then now it's kind of in lower lighting as well and lower temperatures, and that kind of just instigates the growth. Apparently the plant really likes that. It's also known as the Schlumbergeria, and I have that in a non-drainage pot with a chunky aeroid mix, not a desert mix, a chunky aeroid mix. And yeah, very easy to take care of. Loving life out here in the hallway. Next is a little Dracaena. This is actually, I had a massive Dracaena. This is the reflector, and I chopped it up. It grew so quickly, it was just crazy. I've had this plant for, I would say 5, maybe 6 years. So this is one like that I had way before I started collecting plants. Well, this is just a pup from that plant, and there's 2 in the pot, and I'm also trying to train it to like bend. So I'm meant to be changing the direction of this plant like every couple of weeks, but I haven't been. I'll get back on that in the summer when it's got some light to actually creep towards, but you can see it's literally creeping. It is bending. Oh, I'm very excited about this plant. I can't wait to see what it's going to do. Like this one is, I think, if I can keep it alive, if I can keep it happy, this could become quite a big feature plant. So I'm quite excited about it. Next to that, we have a Peperomia obtusifolia. She's still a tiny little baby. I had one before that had grown from a leaf cutting. Very easy to propagate. I've only had this for about 2 months. When my store closed, I bought this plant. I bought a couple of like little dinky plants. So yeah, that's that little guy. Yeah, you've already seen the starfish, but this is the other one. We've got a pup in there, which is actually, I've just realised, grown quite dramatically. I mean, that's quite amazing because the light is very, this is a good day. Most days have been very grey and dark and gloomy, and I've actually been quite worried about some of the plants out here not having so much light. But it seems to be thriving, it seems to be loving it. I mean, almost looks like I need to repot this thing. Obviously, I won't do that until the summer or the spring. Next is another Ripsalis, and for the life of me, I cannot remember the name of this one. It was living in my bedroom. Let me just grab it. Yeah, it was living in my bedroom, and then it started yellowing, and it looked, yeah, it just did not look happy. I think it was too warm. It was under a plant light, and I thought it would like that, but clearly it didn't. It's looking a lot better now than it was. So yeah, cooler temperatures for some plants you know, can sometimes be a really good thing. And that seasonal change, because I have been cheating the seasons. This is down here. Let's move on. This is a very sad looking Monstera siltepecana, and I think I should chop this one up and just, I mean, it's just one long stem that I've kind of wound it round. Let me just unwind it. Oh no, it's 2 stems. Yeah, so there you can see, like, that's the length of it. I don't know, it's not my favourite plant at the moment. Maybe if I could get these leaves to size up. Maybe I should put this one on a moss pole and get it to creep upwards. Okay, down here, very sad looking Syngonium albos covered in beneficial, the bedding of the beneficial mites. So let me just get it in the light a little bit. Oh, that's a bit better, isn't it? Yeah, so I mean, I was struggling with this plant for a while. It kept giving me white leaves, and that is not what you want, because obviously the plant can't photosynthesize with that. It can't grow with the light. But yeah, currently it's looking a lot better. It's a bit of a thrip magnet, gotta say it, but it's also a great plant for the winter. It grows well in the winter. Okay, I think we're on the last plant in the hallway, and that is the last bit of my, well, the main part of my Draciana reflector, which is currently just in a pot hanging. This one is actually in pon, and you can see very chunky pon, lots of roots going on. Probably I need to water this one. When the leaves start kind of like really hanging down like that, generally it needs water. I don't know, I probably don't need to rush into it just yet. But yeah, I love how it looks. It really makes the hallway, I don't know, I just really love how it looks there hanging, and oh, it's getting some sunshine. I'm very pleased to see that. Okay, let's go through to the bedroom. Okay, there is a lot going on in my bedroom at the moment. I've got propagation boxes, a shelf with some lighting, sorry about the flashing, and some plants over here as well. So, I mean, these plants don't normally live in my bedroom, but it's winter time, so they're in here. And also my collection's just got a lot bigger. But yeah, let's start with this first plant, which is my Philodendron Splendid. There's actually 2 plants on this pole. You're getting closer. It's such an easy going plant, and this is the first time I've actually had to deal with pests on this plant. But from its parents, this plant is made up of 2 parents, obviously. It's a hybrid of Melanochrysum and Varicosum, and those 2 plants can be very pesty. I've owned the Melanochrysum. I don't have that plant anymore, but I definitely find this one a lot easier. It does size up a lot. I did chop this plant, probably not the best time of the year to do that. But let me just kind of swing round as well, because you can see like there's a lot going on. But I think the lighting in the bedroom is probably not the best for this plant. It's not entirely happy, but we are constantly getting new leaves, or I am constantly getting new leaves. A new one right there, look how red that is. And then down here we've got another one. So I'm very happy with this dude. It's one of my favourite philodendrons. Oh my gosh. Yeah, love this plant. Moving on to the next plant. Now, you had a look at my Hoya linearis in the hallway. This is the other one. This one normally lives in my living room, but recently started dropping a lot of leaves, and I think I overwatered it. So I probably will just chop that back. when the time is right. But yeah, it's got quite a nice long length to it. And hopefully I can save that one. Moving on is just a little cutting of some Propagation splash there in some pond. It's got a massive long tendril. Here is my other Anthurium clarinervium. There's 2 plants in that pot because I just wanted to like make it a little bit bushier, and I'm really loving the way that she looks right now. Very pretty, such a gorgeous leaf. Yeah, we do have to like be more, I have to like think more about the watering. I recently put that one in the shower and gave it a good old wash down. It's looking so much happier for that, but we do, yeah, I've missed, obviously missed a watering there, here or there, but yeah. It's now, I did have this plant in pond and it kind of crept along. It definitely wasn't doing this on the leaves. So yeah, soil for me it's kind of thrown a little curveball. I'm having to relearn this plant. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with what she's looking like. Moving on, in the corner here, let me just grab it away from the flashing light. Yeah, here I have a very sad looking Philodendron lemon lime. Now this plant is again another favourite of mine, and I had this, it was long and trailing, it was so gorgeous. But yeah, we hit a brick wall somewhere. I think it was a pest situation. It is in pond and it is looking a lot happier, especially since now it's being treated for pests. But yeah, we had a pretty hardcore spider mite issue with this one. So I just decided to turn the lights off, so it is looking a little bit gloomy. Yeah, so I've got a propagation bin here. I will be opening the bins, but firstly I want to do this shelf. This is a very sad looking Oxalis triangularis. In the summer it looks a lot better, but it's certainly not a winter plant, and I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with it. But yeah, it's definitely had better days. Let me just move that big guy out of the way. More sad plants. This is like, yeah, this is kind of like a treatment room, which I'm not entirely happy with having in my bedroom. But it is what it is when you're limited for space. This is an Anthurium doriaci, and I think I might actually just get rid of that because, yeah, it's not the happiest. This is a cutting. Actually, this is I chopped up one of my Hoyas. This is a Hoya Australis Lisa. The majority of it is in this propagation bin here. But yeah, that's it there in pond. I also had a much bigger plant of this as well, but I decided to chop it up because I don't know, I just feel like I need smaller plants around my home. It's an Epipremnum Cebu Blue. I wanted this plant for the longest time. Like, I remember when this was like, everyone was going nuts for this plant. And then I finally found it and I was like, yay, I was so happy. But yeah, she's looking fairly happy. Probably needs water. It's in pond, like I said. Yeah, there's no water in there. But the roots look fine. This is just a bit of Ripsalis paradoxa minor cutting. You'll see the larger plant in the first video. I've got a large one in my living room. This is an Epipremnum Enjoy. It's actually a low light plant, so you can kind of see I've burnt it with the lighting, but I don't know, I'm kind of struggling to find like places for these things to live. Again, it's in perlite, no drainage, with like a reservoir of leca balls at the bottom, and happily lives under there. In here I've got some cuttings from a Hoya that almost kicked the bucket, And yeah, this is my Hoya Crahanianum-esque Super Silver. And when you look at the bottom, you can clearly see there's a lot of rootage. So I will sort that out, but I'm not going to do that until the summer. It's just going to live in there happily. And yeah, I'm going to have to chop that up, and I'll probably put this into tree fern fibre. This guy is my very first kind of experiment with growing a Monstera. This is Monstera albo from a leaf with a node. The leaf itself was kind of quite unhealthy. It was riddled with spider mite. I'd rescued it from the dustbin at work, just to kind of like see what I could do with it, really. It's always, yeah, it's kind of got this weird yellowing. I've tried various different things. Maybe I should actually put it in low light for a bit. But yeah, it's not looking happy, and it hasn't pushed out a new leaf in the longest time. But the roots are looking pretty good. Yeah, the roots are looking amazing. So I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, let's just keep moving along. This is a funny little cutting of a Pachura aquatica that I had, that eventually croaked it, like that leaf. But she's a really pretty plant. I would love to grow this up. This was actually, it was tiny. It was about this big before. And I had it growing in a terrarium. So yeah, it still looks fairly, I don't know what's going on with that guy. Yeah, here I've got another Crimson Queen. If you've seen my first video, you'll know that I've got several of those dotted around. In here, I'm going to have to put the name up of this Hoya because I do not know how to say it. I can spell it for you. It begins with a H. Hescheliana. I think I'm close. Yeah, so that is busy. It's growing in this little vessel because at one stage I wasn't sure if it had a pest. And also it was kind of, yeah, the leaves just kept wrinkling up. But I do think it likes it in there because obviously it's got its own little zone going on, and the humidity hopefully stays fairly high in there. Well, higher than outside in the room. Next is this Hoya cingulatus. Absolutely gorgeous. I love the red old worldy look of it. It looks very vintage, and it was in here because it was on the struggle bus, but I can see it's pushing out new leaves, so that's fantastic. Again, it's in pon, in a no drainage situation. This guy here is a Hoya carnosa dark red, and yeah, those leaves those leaves can get very red when they first emerge, and especially if you're giving it highlight. It is quite a stunning plant actually. In the flower, I would imagine it being a carnosa, it will probably be a pink flower, but it hasn't bloomed. I don't actually see any peduncles on there at all, but I did grow that from a little cutting. In fact, all the Hoyas have been grown from very small cuttings. This is another little Hoya linearis. Like, I can't have enough Hoya linearis around the home. And I recently did this actually. And all I did was I just chopped off some from the main plant and I stuck it straight in the soil, and it's most definitely rooted. Actually, I haven't even looked in the pot. Let's see what kind of roots we do have. That would be quite interesting. Oh my gosh, it does have rooties. Wow. Such an easy plant to propagate. Probably needs some water. This is my tetris... tongue-tied. This is my Rhaphidophora tetrasperma, which I grew from, I think they call them wet sticks. So it's like the stem of a plant without any leaves. And it's been a very long, slow process. I think this plant is probably, oh no, it's probably about 2 years old. And yeah, it took a while, but it's really looking quite amazing now. the way that it's, yeah, excuse the yellow sticky mats, still trying to get past my thrip issue. Okay, this guy, let's grab you out. This one is a Philodendron Atabonense, and oh, I can see a new leaf coming. Fab. This was actually a gift from a friend of mine. Yeah, and I'm just so pleased. I was actually with her when she bought this plant. Look at the back of the leaf. Oh, it's so pretty. Hers is huge. This was just like a little cutting that she made for me, and I'm so happy. The leaf that grew this stem of the plant eventually croaked it. It kicked the bucket and I chopped it off. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. This minty green. I don't know if it really needs to be in such highlight, but that's what I'm giving it. Let's put you back in there. Oh, yeah, like that. Here on the side we've got a string of hearts. Let me just get around. Yeah, on the edge here I've got a string of hearts. I actually chopped and propagated all of these, and I chucked out the main plant once I chopped it. I've also given parts away as well. Like I made like quite a few cuttings from this plant. It's okay. I don't know if it's particularly happy there, but yeah, it's winter and I'm really struggling to keep it happy. In the summer, this plant, literally what we have here will be 4 times longer in just a couple of months, and I'm constantly propagating it. It flowers often as well. It would probably prefer to be in the living room, but there's just no space. Okay, here, this beauty is my Philodendron Fuzzy Petiole. That kind of dottiness that you're seeing on the leaf is extra floral nectarine. You might actually get to see it. It's like this kind of sticky, there you go. Can you see that? Yeah, sticky sap, and because of the plant lights, then it kind of like burns. You know, it's like when you tan, if you were to put sun lotion on, but not in certain areas. So yeah, it's kind of caused a bit of dottiness. But we do have new leaves coming back here. My new leaf. It's on a moss pole, loving life. And let me show you its fuzziness. Look how fuzzy that is. So cute. Yeah, and I got this, and it was tiny little plant. I've chopped, I propagated, I've sold bits of this plant, and this is what I saved for myself. And yeah, it's sizing up quite nicely, considering it's just stuck in my bedroom. That leaf is pretty nice, actually. Yeah, that's a pretty leaf. Okay, going down. This is Alocasia amazonica, the Bambino. Let me just drag her out. That's a bit better. Yeah, the leaves are really interesting. They're quite like dinosaur, like kind of dragons or dinosaur or something like that. But we've got lots of little pups in the bottom. Little babies. That one's not looking too happy. Oh, lighting is a dodge. But yeah, it's in pon and desperately needs watering. And that's all I have to say about this plant. I can honestly say that Alocasias and I don't know. I'm not sure if we really get on. Okay, but I might try more if I find one that's really interesting. This is a Philodendron gloriosum, and it's actually one of the first ones that I ever had. And I grew this from a seedling. This is its latest leaf. As you can see, we've had some hardcore spider mite and thrip. I think it's pretty much been attacked by everything at this stage. It did have a sachet on it. I just removed some of them just for today, but they will all go back on again. But yeah, and it's got like this super long stem, and I've not had much luck with cutting the stem without losing leaves. So if you have any suggestions, I'll probably try notching with that guy. Okay, let's get in the propagation bin. In here, I have 2 Marantas. This one with its brand new leaf. This leaf is so gorgeous. Yeah, this one is the variegated and is doing much better now that it's in sphagnum moss. Got lots of new little shoots happening. Yeah, she's got a pretty little thing. And then next to it is quite a sad Maranta fascinator, but she's on the mend. I almost threw this one out, to be honest, because I was just like, oh my gosh, you're too much. But I absolutely love the design of on the leaf. It's very gorgeous. Such a pretty plant when it's happy and healthy. And I've had this plant before, and I've grown it to quite a size, and then I decided to propagate it, and it all went downhill from there. But I just don't understand why I'm struggling so much with my Marantas at the moment. Maybe it's because now I have more plants. It could be that. Okay, I'm going to now take the lids off of all of these propagation bins so that I can show you what's going on inside them. Yeah, and there's another one there. Okay, so we have all the boxes. As I said, I cut up my Hoya Australis Lisa, and I've got several cuttings in this box. Nothing's happening just yet. I haven't actually checked them all, but yeah, they're kind of living in here. Nice high humidity, and hopefully they'll start growing some roots. This is a saved bit of Hoya crassipatiolata Splash. Oh, we do have some roots. Brilliant. Oh, that's such good news. I'm really happy about that. I'll put a sachet on that one because, yeah, very suspicious. I didn't know what's quite going on with this plant. I mean, this is the only leaf I salvaged from 4. I think I was given a 2-leaf cutting, but yeah, I think we got mites maybe, but this sachet is really good for mites. It covers quite a few different types of mites. This is my Hoya breviolata, all that I could save after a little bit of a disaster with some of my Hoyas in the summer. But yeah, she's kind of cute and on the mend. This one here, this really colourful one, is my Hoya Wietii, the variegated. When you look at the edges of the leaf, it's like this almost multicoloured. It's such a pretty plant, and it actually has been a lot happier now since it's been in the box. I was losing a lot of leaves and they just look kind of wrinkly and not so happy. And then the last little Hoya in here is this guy. Oh no. Okay, I'll sort that out afterwards. Yeah, the last one is this one, and this is my Nuna Pink. We still are getting some weird, kind of strange looking leaves, and those are the ones that I'm a little suspicious of. Yeah, it's currently just in pond. When I potted this up, it doesn't have any roots, and I doubt that we have any just yet because it hasn't actually been that long since I did this. But yeah, that's that guy. Let's plonk you there. Just need to try and rescue my little off. Yeah, so we do have some roots on there. That's quite cute. Yay. And I will put the sachet here. They're all quite closely grouped, so the mites can kind of spread themselves out. Okay, so that's that box. This box, oh my gosh, there's a lot of condensation going on in here. but this is actually a good opportunity for me to see if anything needs watering. This is part of my Philodendron Splendid, and that's the latest leaf. Yeah, that's its newest leaf. And I'll probably get this up on a moss pole someday soon. Yeah, it's nice and moist. And I have another one in there, which is also just spat out a new leaf. Looking very cute. Really pretty. Look at the back, so red. Such a beautiful plant. So yeah, I'll probably end up putting these two together on a moss pole. You can have another plant just like this one. Oh, that's going to be great. This is my... Ooh. This is a... oh my gosh, my brain has just gone... Scindapsus? Yes. This is a Scindapsus silvery Ann, and as you can see, it's just in water. And yeah, I just kind of plunked it in here. And it's probably the reason why it's so moist in there, which is great because it means I don't have to keep watering. This is a Scindapsus exotica. Oh my gosh, check out that root. It's literally growing out of the pot. I put some beneficial mites in there and that's its bedding. It doesn't look particularly happy. Yeah, it's not the happiest looking plant at the moment, but I literally have nowhere to put this plant. I don't know where to put it. Maybe I could put it in the hallway. And the last plant in here, actually this plant normally lives, that's not the last plant. And this plant is my Begonia maculata, the polka dot. And she's kind of spreading herself out. We lost a lot of leaves there, as you can see on the stem. And another leaf there that's kicked the bucket. But yeah, I don't really know what else to tell you other than this plant just lives in a propagation bin or humidity bin, whatever you want to call it, in the winter. I was hoping that it would live in the kitchen because that's where it was in the summer. It's in pure sphagnum moss, which has been the only substrate I've managed to get this plant to grow in. But yeah, I think I'm just going to plonk her back in and she's going to just live in there for the winter. The last plant is another alocasia. This is the red velvet, and we do have a new one. It's quite cute. I love the shape of the leaf. It's so cute. I love the darkness of the leaf, but I don't know. I mean, I did actually grow this plant from a corm. It's in pon, but it's just so slow. It's such a slow grower, and I guess I kind of lost a bit of patience with the alocasias. Maybe that's something I can try harder this year. But yeah, get that bit of fluff off. Yeah, she's pretty. All right, and now the last box, and for me probably the most exciting. Where to begin? So this plant here is quite a new plant. I've only had it for, I don't know, 2 or 3 months. This is my Monstera. Is it the Peru? Oblique Peru. That's its latest leaf. And it's in like a chunky aeroid mix. The roots look fab. Yeah, it's really happy. I think there's also tree fern fibre in there as well, because I was like, yeah, this is a high humidity kind of plant. I'd like to get this on a moss pole. Okay, this is a sad looking one. This is a very sad looking Anthurium baccari. And it's been kind of shooting up. It's been doing that yellowing for quite some time now. And I'm not entirely sure why that's happening. It could be that the light's too high, but that's weird because I have another one. Let me show you that one. I have this one, in exactly the same situation, living in exactly the same location. Oh, yep, no, same pond. And the leaves are fairly happy. Yeah, Anthurium baccari, if I didn't say that. There's quite a few in the pot. I think in each pot there's about 4 or 5 plants. So, I mean, it's still a seedling, but once it starts growing, it's going to get quite long and strappy. So I'm excited to see what comes next. But yeah, I think I will, in the spring, separate all these plants. And maybe that's something that it needs, like to be separated, and it'll be a bit happier. But yeah, I mean, it's not... I don't know what's going on. Okay. Oh, so I recently... Let me just grab this one out next. This is my Anthurium warwickwinearium. This is... I bought this as a seedling. I'll put a photo on the side because I found one recently. Yeah, I've had this plant for about 4 or 5 months. And as you can see, we've got a new leaf coming. This was the first leaf that grew in my care and then got spider mite. So it has been treated for that. This is its latest leaf, which is looking gorgeous. And yeah, it lives in tree fern fibre. Well, it's a mix of my aeroid mix and tree fern fibre. And I should probably put some sphagnum moss on the top there. And yeah, it's just been living in high humidity. Next. Okay, the next plants that I'm going to show you is actually a propagation from an Anthurium forgetii. This is the dark form, and I'm so amazed because I actually only did this propagation a couple of weeks ago, and it's already popped out this new leaf. I mean, it's still like, it'll start changing colour. It's not always going to stay that kind of weird brown colour. It'll be green eventually, but very happy with this little guy. Also, this is also a cutting, but there's nothing happening there, of the forgetii. And then I have a lot of Monstera albo cuttings that have been pushing out new leaves. So that's like the stem that I cut from my main plant, and that's what grew out of the stem. And I've got that one. I've got several of those. A little pointy one. This one is adorable. So cute. Really cute. One of my favourites. That's its latest leaf. So still slowly changing to green. And I did this propagation, this one, and that one, and that one. And I think maybe, no, yeah, it was just those 3 all at the same time. But look how big these leaves are. Just goes to show, I mean, exactly the same conditions, but a completely different plant. It's quite bizarre. That's the other one. Really cute. Do we have anything new coming? No. And this is a cutting from my larger Anthurium warwickwinearium, which has just sprouted. So we'll have a new plant very, very soon. Happy days. I think that's all the boxes. Brilliant. So yeah, those are all the plants. So now you've got the chance to see what goes on in my home. I've got over 130 plants, I think. So yeah, it was quite the journey. You managed to get this far, well done. Let me know if you have any favourites that I have in my collection, or maybe you have the same plant. And you could maybe put some tips or tricks down in the comments down below. I'm going to say goodbye now. Do give me a thumbs up to show me that you did enjoy the video. Share, like and subscribe. Do hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, because this is a tiny little channel. We're busy growing and we're going to make this channel really work this year. So I'm giving it my all, and it doesn't cost a penny for you to hit that subscribe button. So don't be shy, and also leave me a comment, say hi. All right, I'm going to let you guys go. Have a fabulous week, and I'll see you here again very soon. All right, bye.